The story of my marriage. The hurdles in my marriage that led to my trust issues. Long read, trying to paint a picture of what's happened over the years. Looking for the opinion from outside looking in. I'll start with last night's confession. We hit a rough patch lately and had a pretty big fight. Before the fight, I had been harbouring feelings of infidelity. I had been keeping it bottled up for the sake of our relationship. I figured while we were already fighting, it was the time to lay it all on the table. I told her that I wanted her to take a polygraph. She agreed, and the night before it was supposed to happen, she breaks out a confession. 18 years ago, she was working at an Irish pub. She confessed that she stayed after closing one night to drink with coworkers. She made out with a fellow coworker and said it was a mistake. She admitted we had a fight around that time and she'd been confiding in him about our relationship struggles. I suspect an emotional connection was established for him to be courageous enough to go in for the kiss. She put herself at his mercy by going outside alone to smoke with him. It must have been a close one-on-one interaction to initiate it. In my experience, kissing someone new starts with eye contact and gauging their interest by physical touch before slowly leaning in. A kiss is usually initiated when faces are closer than two friends' faces would be. She had plenty of time to make a better decision, she just chose not to. A kiss isn't some surprise you don't see coming. I believe she may have felt guilt, but at the time it's what she wanted, or she wouldn't have. He obviously picked up on her vibes for him to attempt the kiss. Plenty of other non-married girls worked there if he wanted to attempt a hailmary smooch. His intuition must have been right for her not to reject him. It's hard to believe she went back to work like nothing happened and their friendship or emotional affair ended like she claims. The guilt didn't bother her enough to call off our wedding that was planned a month after the incident occurred. Everything went on without a glitch and I was none the wiser. I had just returned home from a 7-month deployment in June. The wedding was in September, with the infidelity happening somewhere in between. It really pisses me off her co-workers knew of the infidelity, and I dined there multiple times being a laughingstock. I'm also really bothered by the fact that her conscience allows her to keep such a secret for so long, only to come clean when she felt the cards crashing. She says she felt guilty immediately and didn't intend on it happening. If that was the case, she would have come home and told me a guy tried making out with her against her wishes. There have been times in the past she told me of guys hitting on her. One time, one of my friends was texting her. I think he had bad intentions and she told me immediately. How is this any different? I think because it was mutual and nothing about it was forced. How likely would you be to believe this is all to the story?
I work for the railroad and really don't have a schedule. I got off around 1 a.m. one Friday night. I figured she was in the bed, so I didn't call first. When I got home, a friend's car was in the driveway. I got out of the truck and could hear music from the backyard. I eased around the house. They were sitting by the fire, drinking, and never heard me pull in. I listened in for a bit and overheard my wife sharing a sexual encounter with her friend. It was tough to overhear, basically describing the best fuck of her life. She clearly wasn't talking about me. I heard her reference he a few times. It did sound to be a one-time thing that left an impression on her. She definitely wasn't describing one of our numerous sexual encounters. I never heard her name and stupidly lost it instead of listening longer. I came round the corner and said, "Oh yeah, Melissa, who are you talking about?" They both looked like they had seen a ghost. She immediately started gaslighting me and went to bed. She wouldn't even talk about it that night. The next morning, she claimed she was talking about Jason Momoa, the actor. I think that's his name, the Mermaid Man. I told her that was absolute BS, that I heard her specifically talking about fucking someone, not some fantasy about an actor. She insisted I was crazy and I didn't hear what I heard. She changed her storyline around the middle of the day after lots of prying. Now she claims it was a guy from 20 years ago in high school. She is stuck with that story ever since. Also, long ago, when I got home from boot camp, one of my best friends told me she was trying to make out with him in the bathroom at a trailer party while I was gone. He said he brought our relationship up to her, and she said, "He don't fucking love me, he left me." Although we'd been dating months prior to me leaving and wrote each other religiously during boot camp, making plans for our future. Of course, she denies this as well. My friend had nothing to gain by lying to me. To make it worse, a couple years later, he passed away Christmas Eve driving home for leave from the army. I still feel guilty that I let that drive a wedge between our friendship. He was just looking out for me. We were inseparable, growing up together every day for a couple of years. Another friend of mine was there and confirmed it was true years later. He did say she was pretty drunk at the time. She now claims she was so drunk that she doesn't remember any of it. In the beginning, she claimed he was flat out lying. She also attended my boot camp graduation in Chicago. While she was in the bathroom, I looked through her phone. I discovered she had been texting back and forth with another guy. It was apparent from the messages they had been meeting up. I don't remember the exact context, but in one of the messages, he expressed the feelings he had developed for her. She claimed they were meeting up on back roads, smoking weed, and he was only a friend. From the messages, it didn't sound that that's how he took it. I wanted to beat the shit out of that dude for disrespecting me. He obviously knew we were a couple and still pursued it. Probably a good thing I never ran into him when I got home.
We had a party at my house not long after we started dating. A friend came in the house and told me she was fooling around in the truck with Jared, an ex-fling of hers. Jared apologised to me after saying he didn't know we were together. Probably true, we were pretty fresh at the time. I know she was really smitten for him in school. If given the option, I think she would have chosen him over me at the time. Moving forward, a couple months later, we're at a house party of a mutual friend. Early in the night, I hit a dude twice my size because she was sitting on his lap being provocative. It sent pure rage through me, and I reacted out of anger. I left after the incident but came back later. As soon as I returned, people are telling me she was making out with Chris, the homeowner. I get pissed and leave again. I stop by again early the next morning and find her in a bedroom with the door shut, in the bed with Keith, another dude from school that was fairly popular with the ladies. She again claimed nothing happened there. I'm by no means perfect and have my own issues. The biggest regret I have is taking the flirting too far with a friend of ours one drunken night. The conversation got pretty explicit, talking about the things we would do to each other. My wife overheard us talking and called it out. I admitted my mistake shortly after. I have a very guilty conscience. It blows my mind people can have ongoing affairs and look themselves in the mirror. I think anyone would naturally have trust issues if they experience the things I have. She was never a loose girl. She was her fifth partner when we got together at 18. I feel like she missed out on a lot of experiences by marrying so young. This is probably the main reason for her mistakes. Most women get most of that stuff out their system before they decide to marry. She never had the opportunity to do so. She has also sacrificed a lot dealing with my military and railroad career. I do love her dearly. She is a great mother and most times a great wife. If you knew her, you would have a hard time believing this story. I don't think she is a habitual liar. I think she withholds the truth sometimes to protect the relationship. I've decided I'm going to try leaving the past in the past. Bringing it up only sets us back. It's been hard to let things go when I feel like I don't have complete transparency. I run things through my mind and they don't make sense. Maybe she is just the biggest victim of circumstances in the history of mankind, and all these situations look worse than they actually are. Any advice on moving forward is appreciated. I don't seek advice from the people in my life. I wouldn't want them to see my wife in a bad light. If anyone has overcome similar issues and your marriage thrived, please give me the tea.